Do you ever feel like confidence is something that other people just have, but you don't? Maybe you've been trying to fake it till you make it, but deep down you anyway felt like you're not good enough? Well, I have some good news. First of all, confidence is not something that you're born with, it's something that you build. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood qualities because a lot of people think that you should be loud or extroverted or like sure of yourself to be confident, but it's actually not true. And in today's video, I'm gonna break down the most popular misconceptions about confidence and step-by-step guide how to build your own confidence. So let's get started. In the first part, we're going to talk about confidence misconceptions and also mistakes. And as I mentioned before, there was one misconception that often people believe in it, is that confidence is something that you're born with. And no, it's not, because first of all, confidence is also a skill and you need to build it. Usually you build it through some actions. It's not like you wait for the moment to feel confident and then you take specific steps towards your goal. You take the steps and then you become more and more confident. Think about a time, for example, when you were not good at something and then you were training, let's say maybe it's a sport or some other skills. So you were training and after that you became better. So confidence works the same way. Misconception number 2 is that confident people never feel fear or doubt. And that's not true, because even most confident people sometimes can be nervous and feel fear. It's totally fine, because the difference between confident person and insecure is that confident people, even when they feel fear, they anyway take actions. They don't let this fear stop them. So one of the mistakes that a lot of people make is that they wait for the moment when they totally 100% feel ready, feel confident, but it never comes, because you anyway will feel fear or maybe you'll be nervous about something else. So just take actions regarding the fear. Misconception number 3 is fake it till you make it. Well, I don't like this one the most, because I see a lot of people think that they can just fake confidence, but no. You cannot. Like, I mean, maybe in some moments you can kind of act confidently and you will look like you're confident, but anyway, other people are not stupid and they can see when you're trying to pretend to be somebody else. So the true confidence actually comes from, first of all, working on your mindset and self-worth, so you feel not like an imposter, but actually a confident person. And also, the more you know yourself, the more confident you become. Now let's discuss some common confidence mistakes. And the first one is seeking validation from others. Well, first of all, if you want to truly be confident, you don't actually rely on somebody else's opinion about you. Yes, of course, it's important to listen to somebody else's opinion and at the same time being still critical about it, but it's not like you want to be liked by everybody else or you try to please them so people like you. And if, for example, there is somebody who doesn't like you, then what? Like, no, you first of all should focus on yourself, how you feel about yourself, what you think about yourself. And then when you'll be interacting with other people, even if you see that there is a person who is not really aligned to you and is different, and maybe he doesn't really like you or she doesn't really like you, then you will not feel worse about yourself. Next is comparing yourself to others. If you think that being confident means to be better than somebody else, that's actually not also confidence, it's arrogance. And if you in general think this way, that, oh, this person is better, this one is worse, then even if you find somebody who, let's say, worse than you, so you're better than them, there will always be some people who are better than you. So it will always be this game from one to another part where you will not actually be satisfied, because the only one person you should compare yourself to is you in the past. Only in this way you will see the progress that you're making. You cannot compare yourself to other people because, first of all, you don't really know them. You maybe know part of them, right? One side of them that you saw, I don't know, like on Instagram or somewhere else, but you don't really know their background. And you should not compare it at all, because when you compare yourself to somebody else, you basically diminish all the uniqueness, all the your own traits of quality, traits of character that make you different from somebody else. And being different is totally fine. And the last mistake I want to mention is avoiding challenges, because I know that a lot of people just wait for the moment when they feel confident, but actually just need to take steps, make mistakes. Yeah, making mistakes is also a part of building confidence and a part of learning in general. As an English teacher, I know it for sure. So when you make mistakes and then you analyze them and then you learn from them, this is how you grow. So how do you build real confidence? Let's dive into it. The first step is self-awareness and self-acceptance. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I said that confidence is based on knowing yourself. So the more you know yourself, you are, let's say, more self-aware of your thoughts, feelings, actions, of your patterns. And also when you know yourself the best, you understand what you actually want. And one of the more common traits of confident people is that they know what they want. So of course they will know what they want when they study themselves. And the next step, as I said, also is self-acceptance. So you cannot accept something that you don't know. So the more you know yourself, then you'll be able to accept it. And you remember I also said about this, like, fake it till you make it. I don't really like this idea, because when people try to pretend to be somebody else, they actually are not embracing who they really are. And that's why I think you just need to focus more on yourself and to look inward rather than outward. So one of the exercises I recommend you to do is write at least 3 things that you love about yourself. I mean, if you've never done it before, maybe it will be really difficult to even say one thing, especially if you think in a negative way about yourself. But you just start small, like maybe today write 3 things, then tomorrow you're like, oh, I also like this and that about myself. And step by step, the more you learn yourself, the more you'll be able to accept it. Step number 2, identifying and releasing limiting beliefs. Many of us carry some beliefs that hold us back. For example, one of these beliefs for me was I'm not good enough. And I've been thinking about myself this way for, I think, many years, like since I was a child. And at some point it actually kind of helped me, because I was a really good student. I always tried to be the best and all this, but at some point I would always feel also unsatisfied inside, and not really happy about myself. So when I actually started working on myself and like building my self-esteem and self-confidence, I realized that there were many actually limiting beliefs, and I started working on them. So one more exercise for you is sitting down or maybe standing up or whatever, it's up to you. So you can actually start journaling as well. It's one of the things that I love as a habit that helps me to build, first of all, my self-awareness. So when you become more self-aware of what's happening with you, and then you also accept these things, the next thing is you can actually work on it, right? So you take journal, and then you write down these limiting beliefs that you have. For example, as I did, right? I'm not good enough. And then I remember that I started thinking like, how I even started thinking about this? Why? And I would write this down. Then there were some feelings, of course, connected to this. I remember at the time I felt quite ashamed, like of myself, I'm not good enough, I always should be better. And then I just fell for this, because sometimes we think that we need to think through something, to think through some feelings, but if you want to release some feelings, you actually need to feel them. Yeah, for me it was a surprise actually when I started psychotherapy, that you need to feel some feelings. I was like, what? But it really helped me to release some of the negative feelings that I also had about myself. So let's sum up this point. You should reframe your limiting beliefs. For example, as I had, like, I'm not good enough, into, for example, I'm learning and becoming better and better every day. This is something that actually quite inspiring, to tell yourself like, I'm improving, rather than, oh, I'm not good enough. Step number 3 is developing a growth mindset. As I mentioned in the previous point as well, I'm learning, right? So I myself have growth mindset because I've been like a teacher for many years, and also I love learning in general. So this is something that will help you in general if you think, for example, about confidence, like, oh, this is inborn trait, and then I tell you like, no, this is something you can build, but then you don't have actually a growth mindset, you will not be able to do something about it. But if you think, for example, that, okay, for example, I lack confidence right now, but I can build it. Okay, so I need to take some steps. You understand that it's possible to, first of all, like change your reality, right? Or to grow. So in this case, you will take some steps rather than if I just said like, oh, it's an inborn trait. I was not lucky enough to be born confident. So that's it. There is nothing I can do about it. You see the difference, right? In the first case, I understand and I take responsibility for this. I take some steps and I improve. And in the second case, I'm like, no, that's it. I'm not going to do anything about it. So of course, in this case, I will not even improve. One practical tip I want to give you is challenge yourself every week. And in general, by the way, when you challenge yourself and you kind of test yourself what you are able to do or not, and then you remember that you have growth mindset, so you can learn even if right now something seems to be hard for you. You understand that okay, it's just gonna take some more time. For example, like right now I play a lot paddle, and in the beginning of course I sucked like big time, and as I had this growth mindset, I was like, okay, step by step I'm going to become better and better. I would take some classes, I would go to some tournaments, like mini tournaments like Americana, and I was the worst. Like I always took the last place, but I believed in myself and I believed that I can improve, so I was taking the steps that would help me to improve. And step number 4 is setting goals, and the most important one, celebrating your wins. Every time you set a goal, and believe me, it's not always about a very big goal, but also step by step, small goals. Maybe, I don't know, today if you want to wake up early, you can just day by day wake up like 5 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier, but you need first of all to set these goals, step by step, like action plan. And at the same time, you need to celebrate yourself, you need to cheer yourself up, because like most people who are insecure, they're quite critical to themselves. They're like, oh, again, I didn't do enough, or they try to beat themselves up. But the person who is confident, or at least the one who is like step by step building the confidence, he is always, first of all, supportive to himself, right? And every time you did something right, you see the progress, you need to celebrate it, because when you bring more focus and attention to those things that you're good at, then you will multiply them rather than, for example, only looking at bad things. And believe me, confidence doesn't come from achieving something super big, because when you achieved something super big and then you want to achieve even higher, even higher, even higher, it will be even harder to do this. So confidence comes from everyday victories. So for example, if you struggle speaking up, you can just set a small goal and I don't know, today or tomorrow to go and speak to someone new, introduce yourself, ask them how they're doing or anything like that. Yes, so it's something that it's kind of out of your comfort zone, but not much. So you don't feel super overwhelmed, because when the goal is way too big and we feel like, oh my God, I cannot do this, you always should break it down into small actionable steps that you can take, and you can see like, oh, I've done it. So you feel good about yourself. So the final message is confidence is not something that you wake up with. It's something that you build every day, step by step. You should take some actions. The best part of it is that you already have everything you need to become confident. So which confidence mistakes have you made in the past? And also, what steps are you going to take now to build your confidence? Comment below, and if this video was helpful, please comment, like, and follow me for more. And don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today, start now, and I believe in you. Or was it too cheesy?
I don't think it was too cheesy.
Okay, then stop.